and I'm happy to share, what I have with you guys. And I believe after this experience, you guys will grow and you would have more access to learning. So if you guys can hear me clearly, please just say yes, you can on the comment box so I can see that and carry on from there. Okay. All right. So today we are talking about how to master your craft as a photographer. How to master your craft as a photographer. How to master your craft as a photographer. I'm trying to take my time so we can have more people to join us here so that everyone can be partakers, everyone can learn, what we have. So my name is Oluseyi Magic, as you already know, and if you don't know, my name is Oluseyi Magic. I'm a CEO, creative director at Rare Magic Studios. I take wedding photos, portrait photos, I major on photography. I do a little bit of filmmaking. And I just launched Rare Magic Academy, a platform where I want to be teaching photographers photography. That's it. How to grow as a photographer, how to develop their business, how to start earning 6 figures as a photographer. And many impactful courses coming soon. So glad to have you guys here. Okay, I think we have enough people live right now. Let me confirm how many people we have live right now so I can get going. But first of all, I would like to say this. Sorry? Okay. So first of all, I'd like to say this. It's really, really important as a creative, as a photographer, to invest in learning. I just want to start with this before we go deeper into what we are here to learn today. I want you to develop a mindset where you would come to a consciousness of learning. If you follow my content for the past few weeks, you know that I've been emphasizing this thing a lot. It's important that you develop a consciousness of learning. I know that a lot of photographers don't like to spend on learning. A lot of photographers don't like to develop knowledge. A lot of photographers don't like to expose their mind to knowledge. A lot of photographers love free stuff. Of course, this webinar is free, so don't be scared. But it's important that you are ready to put yourself out there. What do I mean is, as you are growing as a photographer, don't focus all your resources on only getting a camera, getting a lens, getting best light, getting a system, and all that. You need to find a balance and also focus your resources on becoming better. When I was shooting with Nikon D750, and when I migrated to Nikon mirrorless, a lot of people did not even notice that I've changed my camera. They didn't see difference in my work because I was so good at what I do. Even with D750, it was very hard to spot the difference. In fact, in recent times, I've taken pictures with my old cameras. That's the Nikon D750, the 6D cameras. And I still get amazing results. Why? Because I used to develop my skill. So the skill that I've grown as a photographer is not centered on only camera or lighting. I know my onions, and me knowing my onions came from a place of self-development and self-growth. It came from a place of self-development and self-growth, So it's important that you know this, so that as we start this 3-day series and the amount of series we'll be having in the future, you know that learning is important. So whatever it takes, if it will cost you money, if it will cost you your effort, if it will cost you your time, you need to invest in learning. So now, how to master your craft as a photographer. Photography is a craft, and it's beyond just carrying cameras and running all over the place, doing wait and get, or whatever you do. Photography is more than camera. Photography is an art. In fact, I will call it an everlasting art because it's something that lasts. I got married recently, and I got to, appreciate the essence of photography more. When myself and my wife were checking out our wedding photos just a few weeks ago, the excitement. I'm a photographer. I shoot weddings every weekend. But the excitement I felt, how happy I was, seeing my mom dancing in, seeing my dad, seeing my siblings, seeing my in-laws, seeing myself. It gave me a very, very amazing sensation in my spirit. And I said to myself that, so this is how my clients have been feeling all these years. So it's really, really important that you know that what you do is not just about taking pictures and making money, taking pictures and making money. It goes beyond that. You are keeping memories. You are creating memories. The power of creating memories is infinite. It's so important that you can't joke with it. You know, you can't joke with it. You can't joke with it. I'm seeing so many comments here, and I really appreciate you guys. So I want you guys to flow with me. I want this class to be very interactive. But before we get to the part where you start asking questions, I want to quickly give you the points that I prepared for you in this class. Now, what are the things you need to learn to be able to master your craft as a photographer? What are the steps that you need to take to be able to master your craft as a photographer? First of all, the first thing I will say is you need to have strategy. I'm going to share the strategy with you. I'm going to share my strategy with you on how I became a master of my craft. You know, for a very long time in my career, I was just roaming around. I was just perambulating. I didn't have a focus. I did not have a direction. Yes, I was a wedding photographer from the beginning, but I did not have a direction. So I was just all over the place. You know when you're all over the place, today you learn this one, you learn small. Tomorrow you learn that one, you learn small. And next tomorrow you jump to this other one. And I did not have some kind of direction, some kind of roadmap, that I was following. And it really made me lose my way. I lost my way in a way that it was very hard for me to price the right way. It was very hard for me to deliver good images. Today I want to learn this one. Tomorrow I want to learn this one. I did not take things step by step. And as a result, everything just got so confusing and there was no focus. And I just lost my way. I had to find my way back and start from the beginning again. When I say start from the beginning, this is just probably 3 years ago. And I've been shooting for over 5 to 6 years. But it was just 3 years ago that I had to start all over again, like I was a beginner, literally, to start to develop my craft as a photographer. And the steps and strategies of the things that I learned, the things that I adopted, is what I want to share with you guys now. So number one, you have to master colors. The first thing you need to master as an artist, don't forget you are creative. So it's not just about aperture, shutter speed and all that. The first thing you need to master as an artist is colors. This thing, I'm going to shatter tables now because I know a lot of photographers don't know colors. Trust me. A lot of photographers don't understand colors. Sometimes your client will come to you and say, I have this yellow outfit. What color of hair tie? Or what color of necklace? Or what color of shoe or bag will go with it? And you don't even know the right answer. A lot of you guys don't even know what color theory is. Some of you don't even know what primary colors are. Analogous colors, complementary colors. All these things that makes art unique. What we don't know it because we just focus on how to get clients, and we forget that we need to master the basics. And the first thing that you need to master, I'm going to teach you colors tomorrow. So my focus for tomorrow's class is to teach you everything about colors and color grading. So the first thing you need to learn is colors. You cannot evolve as a photographer. You cannot create beautiful pieces of art. Even if you are a wedding photographer, you are a portrait photographer, you are a landscape, baby, whatever genre of photographer that you are, you cannot evolve without understanding color, technically. The theory of color. What are primary colors? Who can give me primary colors? Write it in the comment sections. The 3 primary colors that we have. Who can give me those 3 primary colors? I want to see it in the comment section. I want to see if someone will get it right. You might have a prize though. You might yeah. So I want to see who can give me the 3 primary colors. Don't check Google. Don't check Google. The 3 primary colors that we have, who can give it to me? I'm waiting for you guys. Because you have to master color. Color is key. Very, very crucial. Red, blue, green. Thank you, Samuel. That's the first answer. Red, blue, green. Did someone say yellow, blue, and red? No, it's not yellow, blue, and red though. It's not yellow, blue, and red. It's red, blue, and green. That's why they call it RGB. So normally it's red, green, and blue. Not yellow, blue. I'm saying red, green, and yellow. Please, yellow is not a primary color. Please. Yellow is not. These are the things you will learn tomorrow anyway, so let me not take your time. So you need to master colors. Color theory, primary colors, complementary colors, analogous colors, color harmony, all these things. White balance, temperature, tint, hue, luminance, all these things are the things that you need to have a deep understanding, because this color theory is what will help you make decisions. You know, when you get to a location, for example, you want to shoot your bride is wearing a certain color, you automatically know that, okay, if you can get a backdrop of this kind of color, it's going to complement this outfit perfectly. And there's something about color that can be appealing to the eyes when you follow the principles and you follow the laws. It's very hard to explain, but I will teach you guys tomorrow. Don't worry. By the end of tomorrow's class, you will have a very deep understanding of how color works and also how to color grade your images. You know. So number 2, you have to master posing techniques and posing rules. Posing. Posing has rules. Yes, I know when it comes to artistry, when it comes to photography as an art, you can do your thing. There's no rule. But you have to understand the basic formulas first. When you master the basic formula of something, it is easy for you to now create your own out of it. So when it comes to developing your craft as a photographer, after you've mastered colors, you need to master posing. I'm giving you key things. I know everybody knows that retouching is important, this one is important, but these are very, very crucial things, because sometimes, I'm sure you guys know this, sometimes you see some photographers' pictures and it's just beautiful. You know, you have to master posing. Of course, I'm going to teach you guys. You know, you have to master posing. Posing is key, and posing is not something you just do trial and error on. You have to have basic principles in your head, like hand placement, how to place the hips, you know, how to break the spine, you know, when the person needs to bend, you know, sitting postures, standing postures, leaning postures, different kind of postures. These are the things you need to master if you want to develop your craft as a photographer. So these are things you have to take step by step. You can give yourself like, okay, for the next 1 week, for the next 2 weeks, for the next 1 month, depending on how you operate. You want to focus on one thing and master it. You take colors, study colors, master color theories, master color harmony, master primary colors, hue and all this stuff. You move to posing. Study posing. I'm going to release the posing course soon, you know, and of course I'll do some free videos on that too. You know, how does posing work? How do you pose a busty person? How do you pose a slim person? How do you pose hold? How do you pose young? You know, how do you create motion? How do you create movement? You know, there's a lot of terminologies. There's a lot of approach that you can employ when it comes to posing, and you need to learn it. You know, what I'm trying to show you guys in this particular webinar is that you have to go through these stages if you want to become a master. You know, you have to go through these stages if you want to become a master. Posing is very integral. I wrote it down here that you can also use props to pose. You need to master hand placement. This is one of the most powerful areas, you know, when it comes to posing. Hand placement. Hand placement is very, very, very key. A lot of people don't know hand placement, and you just find that you take a picture and the picture is looking awkward. You can't even create shapes. You know, with posing you can create shapes. I don't know if you guys know that. The major shape they create with posing is curves and triangles. A lot of people don't even know that. Okay, let me create a curve with a arm like this, with a arm this way, you know. And in fact, if I start talking deeper, we are not going to leave this place, you know. So you need to understand posing. You need to master posing. These things are really critical. So write it down. You know, as I'm giving you this step, please write it down. Please write it down, guys. Master posing, very, very important. Master colors, then master posing. Then number 2, lighting. Sorry, number 3, lighting. You need to know lighting fundamentals. Day 3 of this webinar, we are going to talk about lighting, because photography is light. You know, photography is light. And if you don't know lighting, you don't know photography. Because everything that surrounds what you do, posing, colors, retouching, color grade, dodge and burn, composition, framing, rule of third, everything is centered around lighting. Can you take a picture in the dark? Of course not. Can you take a picture where there's no lights? Everywhere is just completely pitch black. It's not possible. It's not even possible. You need light. So it is light that creates your heart. It is through light that you determine your shadows, that you determine your midtones, that you determine your highlights. It is through lighting. You know, a lot of us don't understand how to create soft lighting. We don't understand how to create harsh lighting. We don't understand how to create shadows. You know, we don't understand how to shoot in the sun. You know, how to diffuse harsh lighting, how to create drama, how to do silhouettes, how to create backlights. You know, I'm releasing a lighting course soon. It's a paid course, I must say. It's a paid course, but it's very affordable. But we are still going to talk about lighting on Wednesday. You know, you guys will learn a lot about mastering lights, light position, light direction, light intensity. You know, how to create backlight, how to use only backlight as your main light and create beautiful dramatic images, how to use continuous light, you know, how to reflect continuous light, how to burn, you know, different things, because the whole field of light, It's something that can take you up to 4 years to learn. Believe me, I've been learning light since I started photography, and I don't think I've mastered it yet. But I believe over the years I've developed experience in understanding how lighting works, and I'm going to show you guys from day 3 and afterwards. But you need to write this, that okay, after you've mastered colors, you've mastered posing, you've mastered what's the other thing? Okay, colors and posing. Then you now master lighting. You need to know lighting principles. You need to understand lighting fundamentals. It's very important that you understand lighting fundamentals. I hope you guys are with me. The comment section is a bit slow, so I think it's coming in late, so I don't know if you guys are with me right now. How's it looking like over there? Looking fine? All right. So you can check it on your device too, just so we are sure we're good. So it's important that you master lighting, color, posing, and lighting. Very, very key. Very, very key. Very, very key. Someone asks if the class is on record. Yes, it's on record, but stay and learn now, because we are still going to ask questions. I'm trying to be as fast as I can so that I can interact with you guys, so that you guys can also ask questions. So after you master lighting, you need to master composition. You need to master composition. Believe me, the things that makes your idols, the photographers that you look up to, the things that make them stand out is composition. They understand the rules of composition. Photography is a craft. We are not the one that founded it. So people that founded it have designed principles. They have designed rules they were supposed to follow. So you need to learn composition. What are compositions? Rules of third. Some of you don't even know what rules of third means. A photographer. Of course, we'll teach all these things, but I want us to run through the list. You need to learn rules of third. Leading lines, symmetry, framing, depth of field. How does it work? How does framing work? How does composition work? How do you add different kinds of elements into your frame? How do you direct your frame? How do you direct your subject into your frame? How do you apply the rule of third is one of the most useful and the most efficient framing techniques when it comes to composition. Rule of third. In fact, you can set it up on your camera so it will guide you. It's just like leading lines and it divides your frame into box of 9. You now use those 3 lines in the middle to determine where your subject will be. Very, very instrumental tool in leading the eyes to where you want the eyes to focus to. Rule of thirds. Very, very important. Very, very important. Leading lines, symmetry. Framing. The only thing I think you guys know is depth of field, because it's very common. In fact, some people don't even know what depth of field is. So they get all confused. And when you are shooting, you don't even know when to put your aperture wide open or you should close it down. And you get all confused. You don't know you can even create depth of field with lighting. You don't know you can create depth of field with aperture. You don't even know you can create depth of field with just placement of your subject. When you take your subject back or you move your subject forward, it plays a significant part in depth of field. A lot of people don't know that. So write this down. So for composition, you need to learn rule of thirds, leading lines, symmetry, framing, depth of field. These are the things that you need to learn. Someone is asking rules of what? Rules of third. Third, 3. Third. Rules of third. These are the things you have to learn. I'm giving you the things that will make you a guru, that will make you a maestro. Because when I got all confused over the years and I was like this photographer, I didn't even know what to learn next. I got all confused. When you check YouTube, you don't even know what to search for on YouTube. You don't know what to look for on YouTube, and you're all confused. You don't know what to do. You need to follow what I'm giving you now. The moment you master all these things I'm telling you, in a short period of time, you just find that you've grown. You just see that you value yourself higher because you are better than how you were before. The next thing that you need to master is post-processing, of course. Post-processing. A lot of you people focus so much on only post-processing, and you jump posing, you jump lighting, you jump composition. You jump all these major things, mastering colors. The reason I started with mastering colors is because when you master colors, it helps you in shooting and it also helps you in editing, because there's a lot of color drama when it comes to editing. You know, if you check out Lightroom, you have hue, you have saturation, you have lumina, you have color grading, you have color calibration, you have white balance, you have tone curve. All these sliders, they all deal with colors. You know, so it's important that you master colors. But let's carry on. Post processing. What's post processing? Post production, editing. You know, we have different software that are used for that: Capture One, Lightroom, Photoshop. Those are the three most popular. We have some other ones. We have Lumina, we have On One, we have Portraiture, you know, and many other softwares. You know, I'm going to show you guys a video on Lumina. I released one last year, but I have a fresh one that is going to blow your mind that I'm going to show you guys, you know, on Lumina. But let's carry on. Post processing is also important that you take your time to master it. Don't jump up and down. Don't try to master 3 softwares at the same time. You know, don't try to master 3 softwares at the same time. Don't focus on jumping. Take your time. Master one. Be a guru at one. Move to the next. Life is all about steps. Life is all about stages. How are we doing? Life is all about steps. Life is all about stages. So don't rush and put yourself under pressure to learn everything. Just start by Lightroom or Capture One. Those are the 2 major color grading softwares. And if you're into portraits and you don't want to deal with batch pictures, you can use Camera Raw with Photoshop. So that's for post-processing. Let me speed up. That's for post-processing. So colors, posing, lighting, composition, then post-processing. You know, those are the things you need to master when it comes to the technical part of photography. When it comes to the technical part of photography. And let me say this about post-processing. You need to have your signature edits. You need to have your signature edits. And when I say you need to have your signature edit, what I mean is this. Don't try to copy everybody. I've done it before, believe me. I've made that mistake before. If I had made it big, you know, I had a certain style that my clients were feeling and they were liking it. They were booking me for it. I will now start seeing some other photographers. I like what I see. I'll start looking at the way they're editing their pictures and start to copy and try to make my picture look like theirs. And when I deliver the pictures to my client, they start complaining that they don't like it. Why is it looking so black? Why is it looking this? Why is it looking so different? That this is not what they saw when they wanted to book me. So it's important that you have a style and you stick with it. You can choose to build on your style. You can choose to make your style better, but try not to change your style. Of course, you can change your style in the long run. Maybe you feel like you have a new approach to your editing that is better than what you have before. There's nothing wrong in changing, but don't make it the order of the day. A lot of photographers, you check their portfolio, you check their page, and you don't even understand what they are doing. Today, their picture look warm. Tomorrow, their picture look blue. Next tomorrow, is looking green. They just apply different kinds of colors on their images, and there's no symmetry. There's no flow. It's important that when a potential client sees your portfolio, they already know what to expect because everything looks similar. Your style, your color looks similar. You know, that's what I try to create. I decided to make sure my colors is different and I don't change it anyhow. I used to buy preset a lot. I buy preset a lot. I build on it, but I still tweak it to make it look like my own color. You know, I tweak it to make it look like my own color. I don't just carry on in random preset and just start using it anyhow. There's nothing wrong in buying preset. I even sell preset. So if a preset is a good way to start if you want to develop your color. Most of my preset, I developed it from other old preset I bought. And I built it and carved out my own preset out of it. You know, so it's important that you have your own signature style. When it comes to your retouching too, you have a signature style. When it comes to your dodge and bone, you have a signature style, so that everything on your portfolio looks similar and everything looks the same. You know, so everybody knows that when they see your work, even without the logo, like my friends used to say that when they see my pictures, they don't need to check the logo. They already know it's my work. And I'm sure you know some photographers like that you don't need to check the logo. The moment you see it, you spot that picture, you can easily guess who took the shot. And that is how you need to approach your post-processing. Now, as a photographer, you need to have business skills. Yes. Even if you have the money to hire business professionals like accountants, like customer service, like lawyers, and whatever makes up a business, it's important that you have an understanding of how a business works, because so that you can be the CEO. A CEO has to have an understanding. One thing that has really helped me in my business is that I study business. I study marketing. I study finance. You know, I study customer service. I don't just focus on learning photography only. And these are things that I learned the hard way, because before I didn't know anything about business. All I knew was just take picture, edit picture, take picture, edit picture. And my business was suffering. I could not price the right way. I could not manage the business the right way. I'll be running up and down. I'll be the one to edit. I'll be the one to print. I'll be the one to go to printing press. I'll be the one to send email. I'll be the one to do customer service. And it got all crazy that my business was on a decline. If not that I had to wake up 3 years ago to learn business, to understand business, to start to apply certain principles in my business, I won't be where I am today. So it's important that you learn certain things. You learn marketing. How do you market your business? Don't think marketing is only centered around posting on Instagram. You'll be shocked what photographers are doing to promote their work. So don't think marketing is only about Instagram, just posting on Instagram. No. Marketing is not just about posting on Instagram. Marketing is about strategy. What's your strategy? How are you networking? How are you putting your work out there? What platforms are you featuring your work? Is it only Instagram? I feel 99.999% of photographers in Africa only sell on Instagram. They don't even care about any other marketing strategy, as if Instagram is the only marketing platform that exists on it. Do you know the amount of photographers that are making it big on Facebook? Do you know the amount of photographers that are making it on Twitter, even TikTok? I think something went wrong. Okay. Are we good? I think the recording stopped. All right. Can I carry on? All right. So do you know the amount of photographers that are doing well on Facebook? Photographers that are doing well on Twitter, on TikTok, doing well, doing big. On many other platforms that I can't even say. Some photographers don't even use social media at all. Some, they use local marketing in their areas. Some use churches. Some go out to exhibitions. There are many ways you can use to promote your business. But if you don't study your market, study your environment, study other approaches that you can use to promote your business, you just be stuck with the crowd. Instagram. Everybody, Instagram. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I got a job through Instagram. If you check my wedding page, I've not really posted in a while. I only post once in a while. I'm not even desperate to post on Instagram anymore, because my marketing has even gone beyond Instagram. It's very important that you strategize when it comes to marketing. It's important that you learn finance. See, this finance thing, sometimes you won't even know you are making money until you start doing finance. Believe me, I'm speaking from experience. You won't know you are making money until you start doing finance. You need to have a breakdown when it comes to your finance. How much goes to what percentage goes to your savings? What percentage goes to your own pocket? What percentage goes to marketing? What percentage goes to business? What percentage goes to promotions? A lot of you just get jobs, get the money, and that's all. You don't spread it. Money is a tool. It's not everything that you keep. In fact, most of our economy these days is even crashing. So the more you leave it in the bank, the more it's devaluing. So money is a tool. So use it to grow your business. So when you start doing financial management, it will help you. But when you get a job, you know that, okay, for this, so 20% goes to my savings. 15% goes to marketing. 40% goes to expenses. The remaining goes to my pocket money. You break it down. So it gives you control. That means you are creating a system around your money. That's what they call financial management. If you can't do it, get an accountant or get someone that knows how to do it. And if you don't have the money to hire someone that can do it yourself online. There are many apps out there that you can use. Free apps, that you can use to design your financial structure in a way that it will give you control, how to pay your tax, how to pay your bills. When they book you for a job, you set aside money for the album, you set aside money for your second shooter. Management gives you control, it gives you focus, it gives you a deep understanding onto how to manage your money. Delegation. Don't try to think you can do everything on your own. You need to learn how to delegate. I can't even remember the last time I edited my event. It's been long. I think it's over 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken, that I sat down and edited an event. Why? Because I learned delegation. I found out that I cannot do everything on my own. If not, I'll just crash. So I started delegating. I started training my cousins. I'm telling you this. So it's not just about you having money to hire staff. You can start with people around you. Train your people, train your families, train your friends, people that okay, they don't have anything they are doing. Take them in, push them, so that they can work for you and you also work for them. You understand? So because you need people that will edit for you, people that will design your albums. You need so that you can focus on other parts of the business. You cannot be doing everything yourself. You will shoot, you will edit, you will do customer service, you will send email, you will do no, 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 no. It's very hard to grow a business that way. Of course, there's a period in your career that you have to do that. I'm not saying you can't do that. There's a period, but understand that it should be a phase. A lot of you have been doing this for a while and you are still repeating the same thing. The same cycle still continues. So it's important that you learn delegation. Some of you don't even have contracts. You don't give contracts to your clients. I learned the hard way. The things I saw, in times when I used to give client contracts, the things I went through, money I had to pay, refund I had to do that I was not supposed to do because I did not have contracts. And there are many free platforms out there that you can use to design invoice and contracts. I'm going to release a contract template for you guys soon. I just want to launch my lighting course in the next few days. When we launch it, then I'll release these templates for you guys. It's very affordable, very just small money, so that you can be using it. But if you want to learn how to do your own invoice and contract, go online, just check Google. I use Wave. There are a lot of invoicing apps out there that are free. In fact, there are some that are paid, that you pay per month, and it's very cheap. I know a platform, I think it's Invoice App or something like that. It's a Nigerian platform. You pay as low as, I think, 1,500 naira per month. Very low. To have a proper invoicing app where you have your account, you can track all your records. So you won't even need an accountant. You won't need an accountant for that. You can just do it yourself. Just put it. You cannot be getting jobs without sending invoice to your client. It is illegal. It is bad, I must say. You can't do that. You have to be sending invoices. It's compulsory. That is how to show yourself that you are a business. Some people just say, okay, how much is it? They just say, yeah, let me send you my account number. They just send account number. Client just pays. Nothing legal. No documents to show that, okay, this is a contractual agreement between two parties. And when problem now arises and there's now trouble, you now start running around. So it's better that you save yourself ahead. Have a contract. Have an invoice. Have a contract, have an invoice. So the other thing I would like you to master when it comes to developing your craft is networking. Networking. This networking is like, if you master how to network, you can jump. You know what I mean by jump? You can really, really fast track your progress as a photographer. You can fast track your business if you network with the right people. I said this in my last live session on Instagram. You cannot cage yourself. Please, guys, don't cage yourself. Don't put yourself in a place where you are one man mupo. It's only you. Thinking about your past, thinking about your present, thinking about your future. It's only you. You don't have anybody you talk to. You don't have people ahead of you. You don't have mentors. You don't have people that you look up to, that you communicate with. It doesn't have to be only photographers. It can be people in other walks of life. But as long as they are ahead of you, you need people that you can talk to. This really, really helped me greatly, because trust me, for the first 4 years of my business, I did everything on my own. And I made so many mistakes. Oh my God, I can't count. I'm going to share a lot of my stories with you guys eventually. I made so many mistakes. Oh my God, so many. I made so many mistakes when it comes to pricing, when it comes to delegation, when it comes to business development, when it comes to getting jobs. There was a period in my life that it was very hard for me to get jobs because I did not know people. I didn't know it was only social media. I didn't know anybody. So it's important that while you are trying to promote on social media, you put yourself out there. How can you put yourself out there? Start with things you can control. Then you now start pushing yourself. Start from your church. A lot of you just go to church on Sunday. Enter when the praises is going on, and walk out when service has ended. That's all. You are not part of any unit. You don't collaborate with your fellow church members. You don't do stuff with your fellow church members at all. And even if you are a Muslim, same rule applies. Because religious gatherings is a good way to make friends, to meet people. Go for conferences, go for programs. We have a lot of free conferences that happens. It doesn't have to be only photography conference. Sometimes you guys only go out when it's photography related. And that is the mistake you are making. Building a business, building a life, building a career is beyond the actual thing you do. For example, photography. You need to put yourself out there into different industries. You need to open your eyes. How do you do that? Go for events. Dress well. Even if it's only one good shirt you have and one good shoe, wear it. Dress well. Go out. Always go out. Make it part of your routine. Find a balance. You want to just go out. Oh, there's a conference here. There's an event here. There's a program here. Even if it's not photography, it can be a fashion show. GT Bank used to do fashion weekend every year. They used to do food weekend every year. Access Bank used to do marathon. Go and do your marathon. Just do whatever it takes to get out there and meet new people. A lot of you, the friends you had when you started photography years ago is still the same friends you have today. There's nothing wrong in keeping friends. I'm just saying you've not even made any new friend. Some of you, when you serve your clients, the moment you deliver the job, that's the end. You cut them off like they don't matter. These are mistakes I've made myself in the past. So we are in the same shoe. So I'm not saying coming here to sound like an angel. I've made these mistakes. And I'm telling it to you so you don't make the mistake. Create a system where you can develop friendship with your clients. Where you can develop friendship with people in your church, in your environment, in your area, online. Make friends. Try to meet new people. Try to develop bond with new people. I said something in my live video. Try to make friends with a lot of ladies because our industry is centered around ladies. Don't date all of them. Don't try to date every lady you meet. Make friends with them because it might be a sister that is getting married. It might be a friend is doing a birthday shoot. They might have a family session sometimes later. She will recommend you because you are a friend. Everybody wants their friends to grow. But when you have already given her breakfast, how will she recommend you? So make friends with people. It doesn't have to be only ladies, Of course, I'm just saying. The industry is dominated around ladies. But make friends with everyone. Be intentional about it because it's compulsory that you do it. Don't say, I don't like to talk to people. I'm an introvert. I'm not into all these things. I'm not. You will be slow. Trust me. I'm a core introvert. This thing that I'm doing with you now, talking on the camera, acting like I'm one public speaker. I'm very bad because I'm an introvert. A core introvert. But I had to break it. This academy I just launched, I should have launched it last year. But I was fighting that introvert spirit in me. So I had to break it. To be able to speak with you like this, the way I'm speaking with you guys. So you have to break it, make friends, develop network. One other thing I'm going to add for you guys is specialization. Now, you have to specialize in a genre of photography. Now, let me quickly say this. When it comes to specialization, please don't think that it is only wedding photography and portrait photography that is lucrative. I will shock you. Don't think it's wedding photography and portrait photography that a lot of you people think it's only guys that shoot weddings that are making money, or it's only guys that are taking portraits that are making money. You are totally wrong. The world has evolved now. Even in Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Malawi, Uganda, these are countries I've done my research on. The world has evolved. So it's not only about wedding photographers. That's why everybody just rushes to shoot weddings, shoot portraits, thinking that is the only way to make money. No. Try to find other genres of photography you can specialize in. I know someone that does corporate photography. When I say corporate photography, he does corporate headshots. We just go to offices, take all the staffs, if they want to do like their annual general meeting, or they want to do their yearbook or something. All these CEOs, they take their portraits. This guy, some companies pay him 10 million for a year. I know people that companies pay them monthly, as high as 5 million naira monthly in Nigeria. And what do? They just go there once in a while. It's not every day. In a whole month, they might go there only once and just take headshots, and that's all. You can go into real estate photography. Real estate is a big market now. We don't have a lot of photographers in that market, and there's a lot of money in it. We have a lot of real estate agency out there. Write a proposal. Shoot real estate. You can make money. And it's very easy. Real estate photos, you don't need to retouch. You don't need to do lighting. You don't need to do, it's not as technical as portraits and photos. You don't need to pose a building, of course. And there's a lot of money in it. Write proposal to real estate agencies. You'll be shocked at the amount of people that they're tired of using their phone to take their buildings, and they hire you. You learn area photography, drone photography, real estate, commercial photography, professional headshots. How to take corporate headshots for CEOs. Baby photography, families, landscape. I know two photographers like around 4 years ago in Nigeria. They went to, I think, 14 or 15 states in Nigeria to take different landscape. It's not even 4 years, I think up to 6 years ago, so it's a long time ago, when landscape was not even selling. When they came back to Lagos, after taking all those pictures, they sold the pictures to Union Bank. Okay, so I think we have a transmission issue. Is this one not transmitting? Okay. Okay, so just hang on, guys. Okay, we're back. All right. So, as I was saying, when they came back from their trip, after taking all those landscape pictures, they collated it and sold the images to, I think, Union Bank or UBA, I think. I'm not sure, but I know the bank starts from U. For a whooping sum, huge sum, I think 15 million. You know how many weddings you have to shoot in Nigeria to earn 15 million? So believe me, you can develop your career in other genres of photography, and don't be so desperate to shoot portrait, because a lot of you don't even enjoy shooting weddings. You are just doing it because you feel that's where money is. Don't choose a genre because of money. Choose it because you fall in love with it. I chose wedding photography out of love, believe me. If not, I won't be shooting weddings today. When I shoot weddings, my energy is high. It's like I'm on something when I shoot weddings. When I'm taking portraits, I don't enjoy it. When I'm taking families, I don't enjoy it. When I'm taking weddings, I used to lose my voice, if you ask my team, because I'm passionate about shooting weddings. So if you're not passionate about it, don't force it. Explore. Photography is very wide. Explore other areas of photography. You will be shocked at the amount. You can even make more money than we that are shooting weddings. Believe me. So you need to specialize in something. And the final thing I'd like to share with you guys is that you need to have a competitive advantage. A competitive advantage. Give me the number. A competitive advantage. What do I mean by competitive advantage? What do I mean by competitive advantage? In whatever you do as a photographer, you have to have at least one thing that makes you stand out. These things I'm telling you is the only way to be a master. There's no only other way. It's the only way to be a master. You have to have at least, you can have more than one thing, but in barest minimum, one thing that makes you stand out. What makes you different in your service? Have you done research? How do photographers handle their clients? How will you handle your own clients? A lot of you people just do your research. When you see that, okay, this is how Red Magic used to handle his own clients, let me do the same thing. No. When you find out how other photographers handle their clients, how can you make your own better? How can you make your own unique? How can you make your own different? How do you create an experience that makes the client feel like, next time I have something that is photography related, this is definitely the person I'm going to call. A lot of you treat your client like they will never come back. Even if it's a wedding client, they have siblings that will get married again. They have friends. A lot of people just act like that's the end. They should just get the, out of your life. So what is your unique point? What kind of thing do you tell your client that, okay, if you book me, this is what you get. For example, if you book me, photographers take 2 weeks to deliver pictures. I deliver my picture in 4 days. That's a unique selling point. It might be the kind of album you make. It might be the kind of frame you make. It might be your service. It might be the way you edit your pictures. You must have something that makes you different, that you know that, out of the crowd, this is the thing that makes me special. This is the one thing I can use to sell my market. This is the one thing I can use to sell myself to my potential clients. It's very, very important that you have your own unique selling point, competitive advantage. Do your research. I cannot tell you what your USP should be, your unique selling point. I can't tell you. It's up to you. But you have to figure out what makes you special. Look at how the industry you are. Look at how it's being operated. And look and say that, okay, what can I do that will be better? Since it takes everybody this time to deliver, let me make mine shorter. Okay, what if this is the size of album people make? Let me make mine bigger. Little things that makes you develop value in yourself, because it will give you confidence to say, I know that I can do this thing for my clients, and no other photographer or no other competitor out there can do this thing. So don't just focus on just doing what everybody does. Try to be different. Try to be special. Try to be unique. Try to be special. Try to be unique. Turn that off. The whole socket. Try to be special. Try to be unique. All right. So sorry for that break transmission. We are experiencing some power issues in Nigeria. What can we do? So the inverter is low, so we need to turn on the power. Okay. So it's very, very important that we try to be unique. You need to have a competitive advantage. So let me quickly run through what we have. You need to master colors. You need to master posing. You need to master lighting. You need to master composition. Master post-processing. Turn this off. Business skills. Networking. Specialization. Then competitive advantage. Someone saying here that it still comes down to fund. Yeah, no. Believe me. When I started making money, I was still making the same mistake. So if you are not prepared for the money will not come. If you don't start to employ strategies for making this money, for getting this fund you are talking about, the money will never come. Money is key. Let's not leave the fact out. It takes a lot to put into this craft, and must be told it's time to develop. Okay, Frederick, I like that. Yes, I know money plays a part. That's why you need to do financial management. The little jobs you are getting, the little things you are doing to develop your craft, you need to be using that money, spread it out. While you are investing on equipment, you are investing on marketing, you are investing on business promotion, you are investing on strategy. Some of you don't even have a business plan. And you want to run a business. You want to hire staff. You don't have business plan. You don't have corporate strategy. You don't have corporate profile. You don't have 5-year financial goal, 10-year financial goal for your business. You can't grow that way. Believe me, fam, you can't grow that way. So let me run through your comments. Dada Sheon said, when he started as a photographer, he wanted to shoot just landscape because he saw that most photographers are not in that field. You should have jumped on it. The fact that you don't even have a lot of photographers in landscape is the reason you should do it. Let me turn this back on. The fact that you don't have a lot of photographers in landscape, in sports, in wildlife is the reason you should do it, because that will make you different. That will make you. A lot of you people like to join the crowd. You don't know that it's more tougher to grow when you are in the crowd. But when you're in an industry that you are not plenty, you are unique, you stand out. You can be unique and you can stand out. All right. Okay, so let's carry on. So just a second, guys. Tell Alfred to pour whatever fuel is there and turn it on. You understand? Anyone bite quickly. All right. So sorry for the break in transmission. Does your environment determine the niche to pick, or you pick the craft based on your flair? Both ways. The environment plays a part. Like for example, in Nigeria, I don't think wildlife photography will sell here. But in places like Kenya, wildlife photography will sell because they have a lot of safari, lions, tigers, and all that in Kenya. In Nigeria, where do you want to see lions except that slim lion in Ibadan Zoo? So wildlife can't sell in Nigeria, but landscape sells in Nigeria because we have a lot of beautiful landscapes in Nigeria if you travel. So the location plays a part, and it's also important that you like it too. Don't just jump on anything that everybody is jumping on. Yes, Adedapo. Yes, that's it. Eventually, when you make the money and you are not reinvesting, the business will decline. Yes, you need to invest in knowledge and gadgets. Landscape photography is a disadvantage in Nigeria because of insecurity. You have to take the risk, bro. Okay, so many comments. I did a wedding job and the client's company. Oh, the comment is just jumping. I can't really read through. Okay, let me scroll up a bit. This one said, Josh Likin said, I have a Spanish friend. He makes up to $10,000 a month shooting restaurants. Yeah, you see that? That's commercial photography. Can do commercial photography, You'll be shocked. Genres of photography. Okay, let me quickly run through. I was forced to start doing kids session. Yeah, that's good. Kids session 2. Families, kids and families, another good genre to develop your portfolio. Another good genre to develop your portfolio. Have business skills. Special. Okay, yes, that's what I said. Join a community. Learn how to leverage and know your target audience. What do you consider in choosing the spots in the location to set up and shoot? I will talk about this in maybe tomorrow because we have to wrap up now. We are running out of power, so we have to wrap up now. So tomorrow we are going to learn color grading, and also I will make room for more questions. And in tomorrow's class, we'll make it a bit longer so that I can have more time for questions. Right now we're having issues with power, so I have to go. So I hope you guys learned something today. And I'm so grateful for everyone that joined the class today. It really means a lot to me. I really, really do appreciate it.